It's Tuesday again.
It's Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode of our web show, Travel Talk Live, hosted by Global Institute for Travel Entrepreneurs. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Meredith.
Hello.
So this is Meredith Hill. If you don't know Meredith, I'm Vanessa McGovern, and we are your hosts for this Tuesday show that broadcasts live on the Global Institute for Travel Entrepreneurs Facebook fan page. It's open to anybody, the travel agent community at large, and we're so excited. We love this day.
Yes, we do. We are very excited. We love Tuesdays. It's one of our favorite things we get to do around here.
I know. And, thank you so much for all of our members and watchers, listeners, that's a word, who have been supporting our show from the beginning. And we aim to educate, of course, as you know, that's our number one priority. And we aim to also energize you, energize the industry, energize your mindset, energize your perspective, really just
kind of like a good song would do.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. And of course, we also aim to, the third one is entertain, because, we're funny.
We can be.
We don't take ourselves too seriously, and we encourage you to not take yourself so seriously too.
Yes.
Because after all, we work in the travel industry.
Yes.
Right?
And what was the last one Rashida said?
Empower.
A
couple weeks ago, it was Empower.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. We should add a fourth one.
Yeah, we should.
So thank you, Rashida, for that. We are so happy today to be broadcasting and to share our nuggets. We are going to have a great conversation today.
Yes,
We've
actually.
got
It's a really good one.
Really a topic
it's a really good one.
Yes. But before we dive into what the bulk of our content for the show is going to be, we always do a member shout out.
Yes.
But today's member shout out is kind of unique. It's not a single member. Today's member shout out goes to all of our members, past and current, who have ever been a part of our amazing group coaching program, our Travel Entrepreneur Success Academy. Give yourselves a big round of applause. If you are a member of Tessa today, go ahead and give a like or a love. Drop it in the comments. You're in Tessa. If you've been a past member of Tessa, go ahead and give yourself some love too, and give a like or a love as well.
So why are we giving them a shout out?
Why? Well, first of all, we love our Tessa members.
Yes.
We thought, we've been doing a lot of individual shout outs, and we wanted to just pay homage to a group of you. Also, it would be fun to call out
who
this
have
program.
invested in themselves,
Yes.
invested in their business, and are really taking this seriously.
Yeah. Well, taking their business seriously, but you know what else is really a big common denominator among members of our Travel Entrepreneur Success Academy is they are very focused on their own personal growth.
Right.
And they know that there's a direct correlation between their personal development and their business development. And they're very focused on that. They love your mindset nuggets that you show up every week, Meredith's weekly mindset nuggets. You show up in their private forum, and you deliver such great inspiration that you draw largely from your own life. That Meredith does a mentoring call with them, and we meet twice a year in person for 2 days of masterminding. Oh my gosh, how much fun have we had on our Tessa retreats?
We have had a lot of fun on our Tessa retreats.
We've been to Beaches, Turks and Caicos. We've been to Jamaica when it was called White House.
Yeah.
We've been to Ochi Beach Club.
Yes.
We've been to of course, what's it called? Oh my gosh. Club Med Sandpiper, and we've also been to Club Med Punta Cana, and we've been there twice.
And we've been to Club Med Cancun.
Yucatan, the Yucatan Club Med.
Yeah.
So we've been to a lot of places, and we've been to New Orleans.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right?
New Orleans was fun.
Shannon LeBlanc was amazing. She was kind of like our hostess there, and she took us to the Food and Wine Festival.
And of course, we've been to Davidson.
Oh, our favorite. We forgot our favorite. What's like in the history of Tessa meeting the one?
Oh, Napa.
That was in 2012.
Oh, that was such
we
a
have
good
to
trip.
do another trip.
We do need to do that one again.
Yeah. So members of our Travel Entrepreneur Success Academy, or Tessa as we call it, are just a really special group of travel professionals. And most people enroll in Tessa during the Book More Travel Workshop, which is in February. There's no really open and closed enrollment. So if you're watching this and you're like, you know what, that sounds like a really great group of people that I'd like to surround myself with, you're welcome to go to tesuccessacademy.com and just take a look. Drop us an email if this is something you're interested in. We've got our next meeting coming up in October, which we're very excited about because it's not the glitz and glam of an all-inclusive, but it's actually more meaningful because we're bringing it home.
Yes.
We're going to be at the Homewood Suites in Davidson, which holds a very significant place in the history of gift, and we've got an amazing event planned. So that is a big shout out, is to anybody in the gift community that has ever invested in themselves in the Tessa program, who have shown up for Tessa, played full on, made long, life-lasting friendships as a result of your engagement in Tessa. If that's you, give yourself a big like and a love and a big pat on the back because you've really engaged and embraced this program. Because when you really fully immerse yourself in a program like Tessa, magic happens.
Yes.
Transformations happen. So a big shout out to all of our Tessa members.
Yay, Tessa people. Woo-hoo.
All right.
Tessa friends.
Tessa friends, we love you. We can't wait for more belly laughs
Yes.
and funny moments. We've had some really funny moments.
And drinking wine.
Yes, and just making really great memories.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and of course, the content's pretty good too.
Content is
At
good
the
too.
meetings.
Lots of breakthroughs.
We always do a day of marketing and a day of mindset. That's how the Tessa meetings are structured. So shout out to all of our Tessa members. We love you. Mwah.
Yes.
We can't wait to see so many of you in
October. Woohoo.
So today, let's dive into this topic.
Yep.
What's our topic?
Our topic is stepping into the business leader within you. So I know I did this myself, and I see it a lot with whether you've been in the business a while or not, I see it happen often. And that is that you bring your employee mindset to your new entrepreneurial business venture.
Goodness. Yes.
And so what does that mean? It means that you're not necessarily driving the business because you're waiting for permission.
Yes.
You're waiting for direction. You're waiting for someone to tell you what to do. And how many times have we had people come into like a VIP day with us where they're like, just tell me what to do, I'll do it. But that's a product of bringing your employee mindset with you.
I've had calls with people and they literally have said to me, I was waiting for my call with you to really move forward.
Yes.
Whatever it is that they were deciding on, whether it was a rebrand, a name, a marketing strategy. And when I hear that, that means to me that you were waiting for my sort of blessing, my reassurance, my positive sort of blessing, if you will, and most importantly, my permission, which is kind of weird because you're like, I didn't even ask the permission, but you essentially are telling me that you did. Like, what if I was to say to the people that have called me, that's a terrible idea, you shouldn't do that? And what if it's the best idea for your business? I don't know everything about your business just from a 10-minute conversation.
Well, when we describe our coaching programs, whether it's the Tessa program or a private consulting program, or even the Diamond program, we tell people that we actually don't know the answers.
Yeah.
And we're very clear about that.
Right.
We are very, very clear that it is not our, as your coach, as your advisor, as your mentor, whatever you want to call it, consultant, it is not our job to give you the answers. It is our job to help you illuminate the answers that are already within you.
Draw the answers out of you.
They're already within you.
You have the answers.
And so the way you do that is by stepping into the business leader that's within you. Every single one of you has a very successful, a very savvy, a very wise business owner within you. I guarantee it. There's not one person that does not have that. You all have a very wise, savvy, successful business leader within you.
Now, I just can't stop thinking about something as you're saying this, and I'm thinking about the amazing watchers. I don't know why I keep saying that. What's the right word? What the amazing attendees of Travel Talk Live on the other side of this thinking. But Meredith, I'm not a business owner. I'm a travel agent. What say you?
That's one role as a travel agent.
Yeah.
But you also have another role, which is a business leader.
Or maybe
Or a
they don't
business
flat
owner.
out think that as dramatically as I just said, but they do put themselves as a travel agent, travel consultant, travel expert, whatever you want to call it. You put that as the forefront. And actually what's at the forefront, and that doesn't mean that that's what you put on your marketing, but from a mindset perspective, you are a business owner in the digital age. And your how is travel agent.
Right.
You know, you are a travel expert. You are a travel consultant. That's your how. That's how you're delivering your service. But you are, if you are a seller of travel watching this, you own a small
and you're not
business.
employed by somebody
Right,
else.
exactly.
And you're not employed.
You are a business owner.
You
and I
are.
think that that's one of the biggest blind spots in our industry.
Yeah.
We don't empower,
Yeah.
you know, at conferences.
And part of it is
speakers.
just because we don't
talk-
acknowledge it.
I know.
We just don't acknowledge it.
Right?
There's very little taught and talked about.
Yeah.
It's not discussed. Like, no, you actually are a business owner.
Yeah.
And you got to start behaving like a business
Thinking
owner.
like one first, right?
Right, exactly. So the mindset tip then is actually the solution to finding the business owner that is within you already. And I want to say that one more time. I think it's really, really important that you understand it is within you. And it's not just within other people that you see doing well. You have the same ability to be successful as Oprah Winfrey or anybody
Richard
else.
Branson.
Richard Branson. Anybody else that you
Admire
as
Respect.
a self-made person. You have the ability to be just as successful. You have that wise, savvy business leader within you. So how do you find it? How do you draw it out? It begins with finding your intuition and tapping into your intuition. So
And that is your greatest tool.
it is your greatest, most valuable tool in your toolkit is tapping into your own intuition. And I was listening to someone talking about intuition several months ago, and I loved how he introduced the concept. He said, imagine you could hire someone tomorrow, and the job description included making every single decision in your business from today onwards, and that this person that you hire is always going to make the right decision, will never make a wrong decision, will never make a mistake. And oh, by the way, you don't have to pay this person anything.
What?
Would you want to hire that person?
Yes. Yes.
And you can. That's called your intuition.
Yeah.
All you have to do is learn how to tap into it, learn how to receive it, learn how to feel for it, and hone it. You know, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more you can.
Would you say it's
use
a mental muscle?
Yeah, it's for sure a mental muscle. It is exactly what emotional fitness is.
How do you, and I'm kind of asking you this question, you know, I actually don't know what you're going to say to this, so I'm just kind of asking here. What is it? It truly is an AMA, Ask Meredith Anything. That's like an actual hashtag, actually. AMA. So hashtag AMA. What are the things that we're doing, like self-sabotaging things that we're doing that are what do you see me doing that train me away from tapping to my intuition? Yeah.
Reacting. That's a huge, I
have no idea what you're talking about. I'm a reactor.
Reacting instead of responding. Reacting. So,
okay, what's the difference?
I'll tell you that in 1 second. I love this analogy. I love this analogy. Imagine you were meeting up with an old friend that you hadn't seen in a long time.
I love that.
And you decided to meet at a place, you know, wherever, down the road in the middle of town. And you go into this place. It's a bar. It's a really cool place, great atmosphere. You're so excited to just sit down and either have a glass of wine or a glass of beer and just catch up,
okay,
right?
Yep.
And you see them, you hug, you sit down, and you happen to realize that right behind you is the speaker and the band is about to play, and they start playing, and it's just blaringly loud, and you can't hear a thing your friend is saying. How frustrating is that?
Extremely.
Do you know that most of us live that way all day, every day?
We have a blaring boombox behind us.
Yes. And you have this dear friend who's trying so hard to speak to you, but you can't hear them because you're drowning them out with the noise.
What noise? Be
the
specific.
The thoughts, the resistance.
Like feeling annoyed at something.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Or like watching, like I hear when people, I see people like scrolling through their Facebook newsfeed and like somebody else's post is really annoying, and then I just hear somebody say out loud like, "Oh, did you?" and then start talking about that. Is that what you mean?
As going through your daily life and observing every single thing that you don't want. I don't want it this way. I don't want it this way. I want to be able to go to Target and buy whatever it is, or it's the records that you may not even realize that you're playing all day, every single day.
Here's one that comes up for a lot of people, like you're in a long line to get off the highway and somebody cuts you off.
Yeah.
Somebody might react to get road rage and just be really upset and angry, and they're just harboring that anger for the rest of the night. Others just, okay, that person really clearly needs to be somewhere in a hurry, so we'll just let them through.
It's just how you, exactly. So there's difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is like letting yourself get hijacked by mostly your ego,
bad thoughts,
right?
Thoughts,
exactly, bad thoughts, negative thoughts,
angry, something that frustrates
another
you.
Analogy that I've come up with recently, and I have shared with our Tessa people in one of my mindset nuggets, is this is kind of cool. Imagine that, like, so our brain is a thought producing factory. It just produces thoughts automatically and spits them out, and most of us, that fan of thoughts that keep getting spit out is very fast. It's just constant, right? And so we don't have the ability to stop the thoughts at all. What we do have the ability to do is either hold on or let it pass by and not hold on. And that's the difference between reacting and responding.
Okay.
That thought gets your attention and you hang on to it and you cling to it and you get pissed off
and you want to call this person and you want to private message that person. You just want to tell everybody about it.
Even if it's true, even if the thought is true, you can choose to let it just pass by.
So these are ways to avoid listening to your intuition.
Right.
And we started this conversation because your greatest tool in your business,
most valuable tool ever,
is listening to your intuition. But you can't
using your intuition to guide
use it and listen if you're busy with all these things that we just talked about.
But what I wanted to share, which I didn't, the thing that I've shared
this
with the
Tessa
Tessa
group, by the way, I love this conversation. If you love this conversation, drop a comment, like, love.
So we have these thoughts, right? Millions of thoughts a day that our brain is producing. What we don't realize is that those thoughts are coming from different personalities within our brain. All of us have multiple personality disorder. We do. Every single one of us. We have 12 to 14 different personalities that reside in our ego.
Well, if you think about it, I'm like, I act very differently with my children than I would with you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Exactly. Or, I mean, it's so obvious. When you come home to your kids, you are a different personality than when you're speaking on the phone with a supplier, right? And trying to negotiate something. So we have 12 to 14 different personalities. Now, here's the thing. Not all of them are as mature and wise as our physical age would tell us. You have one personality that resides outside your ego that is true, and that is your inner being, that's your soul, and that is the voice of your intuition, or that's how you access your intuition. So one of my favorite little tricks I gave the Tessa people is, imagine that you're like a school teacher and you have this classroom full of kids, but they're not all the same age, right? Like a 5th grade school teacher would have a classroom full of 10 and 11-year-olds, but they're not all 10 and 11-year-olds. But some of them are. Some of them have the maturity of a 10-year-old. Some of them have the maturity of a 13-year-old girl. Some of them have the maturity of a 15-year-old boy. And some of them are, maybe more wise and mature, but it doesn't matter. You have this classroom full of kids of varying ages with different opinions. Those personalities evolved at some point in your childhood probably, and they actually kept you safe. They had a purpose. But now that you're older and wiser and now have a business that you need to run, you have the choice when those voices come up and they have an opinion and they spew thoughts to you to ask yourself, is that thought coming from my higher self? Or is that thought coming from, someone in that kindergarten classroom? Mm-hmm. And if you know the answer is it's not coming from my higher self, the next question is, how would my higher self think about this? What would my higher self think on this subject?
And even just the action of stopping and being aware is huge.
Huge.
I think that's so important to emphasize, because I can't tell you how many times I hear our clients ask you that question. Well, how do I shift? How do I stop? How do I slow this fast-moving train of negative thought patterns? And usually your response is always to just be aware.
Yeah.
I don't think we give that enough emphasis, right?
But it's easier to do that if you meditate.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons
another tool.
why. That's another tool.
To get close to your intuition.
Is meditating. So
if you meditate, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment in the thread. Let us know if maybe share with other viewers of Travel Talk Live techniques or apps or websites that you might use.
Or maybe
for meditation.
You've tried to meditate and it's not very...
I know what Meredith is going to say.
No, actually, I wasn't thinking about you, but...
I have been listening to the Abraham Hicks night meditation before going to bed.
Well, that's very good.
I have been before going to sleep. Of course, I fall asleep.
And I would say that continue to do that, but set the intention that you'll eventually get to a place where you're meditating by yourself. Because if you're using an app, you're not necessarily getting the full benefit as you could get if you're truly meditating. So what do I mean by that? Let's just talk a little bit about meditation and why it's important and how it contributes to tapping into your intuition.
Because that's what we're talking about. And so this is such a great conversation on tapping into your intuition, because that is your greatest tool for your business.
Absolutely. So why is it important to meditate on a daily basis? Because when you don't, and honestly the best time of day to do it, the easiest time of day to do it, is when you first wake up. And the reason why is because now you've just spent the last 6 to 8, 10 hours, however long you sleep, stopping all momentum. So what does that mean? You might have been thinking stuff before you went to bed, but the momentum of those thoughts has stopped. And if you wake up without meditating, you're going to pick up those thoughts immediately where you left them last. But if you meditate, you can actually bring yourself above them. So it's kind of like the cork in the water, right? So the cork is naturally going to float on top. It's naturally going to rise to the top. It's the same thing with your higher self. The thoughts, the voice of your higher self is going to naturally rise to the top. But if you
stop pushing it down,
if you're holding the cork underwater with resistant thoughts, it's going to stay down.
And we are holding our proverbial cork under the water by complaining, by focusing on what is, by getting road rage, by doing all these things that we talked about.
But guess what happens when you let go of the cork? It comes up. So meditation is exactly that. It's the process of letting go. And your energetic output will naturally rise. And when it does rise, now you're putting yourself in a position where you can actually hear the voice of your inner self. But when you're holding it down with resistant thoughts, it's like sitting next to the loud blaring speaker trying to hear your friend talk, and you can't hear it. But when you let go, so meditation is literally as simple as the process of just letting go, because you will naturally rise. Your energetic output will naturally rise. So
such a good conversation.
Recommendation for meditation.
Who knew that we would talk about this on Travel Talk Live, right? It's so important.
It's important because it's how you're going to start tapping into your intuition, and it's how you're going to get your business to go forward. If any of you have, a really cool story about how you started tapping into your intuition, and then you had something happen because you listened to your guidance and it was the right thing or whatever. All right, so
we all have really good stories, right? Of just
For sure.
trusting. So remind yourself of that time where you really trusted yourself and something felt off or something felt good and you went for it or you held back. Like if you're thinking that sushi is bad, it's probably bad.
Yeah.
Like, your intuition is guiding you in small levels and in big levels. But when you're in an employee situation, we're trained away from it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and that's why we hear so many times members of our community saying that being an entrepreneur in the travel business, an entrepreneur has been like this one big personal development journey.
Yeah.
And everything you're describing is that. What does it have to do with our travel business? It has everything to do with your travel business. And the reason why your travel business isn't taking off at the rate that you wanted to is because you're not stepping into your inner business owner. Nobody in this industry, we're not having these conversations. It's not just about learning product and going on FAMs. It's about understanding that you're a business owner first.
Yep.
And it's not just about practical things, because we could talk about profit and loss reporting and expenses, LLC, S Corp.
We let Jen do that.
Yeah, segregated accounts, like all these fancy business terms, which are very important.
Very important.
But equally, if not more important, is this energetic conversation.
Well, you have to do the energy part first before you can do that. And you will be naturally led to those things when you do the energetic part first. Absolutely.
How many times do people asking you, how, Meredith?
Right.
How do I do that?
Well, I feel like I've, number one, absolutely meditate. Number two, so I love my 3 steps to activating your Midas touch. I think it's the answer to everything. The first step is surrender, and meditation is a form of surrender.
It is. It's a beautiful
It's a huge
way.
form of surrender. It's just letting go. Surrender. What do I mean by that? Let go. Make peace with where you are. Just let go of all resistance. And if you feel a resistant thought come up, it's okay, because there's momentum there. So you're going to continue to produce those kind of thoughts, but you don't have to cling to them. You can let them go. Number 2 is shift your perception. Just like I said, is that thought coming from my higher self? Okay, if it's not, well, how would my higher self think about this? What is my higher self's opinion of this?
So next time somebody cuts you off, rather than, getting angry, you could say, what if that's a mom with a screaming newborn in the back seat and they are so desperate to get home, or there's like a toddler that's throwing a tantrum and just started puking everywhere. I know, because I have young kids. And you're a mom, and maybe it's a mom that just needs to get to where they're supposed to be in a hurry, and they're anxious. Like, send them love. Yep. Go ahead, cut me off. Yep. Shift your perception. You don't know.
Or, I told my son this the other night, the concept of the bow and the arrow, right? That arrow will not move forward unless the bow gets pulled back. And the farther you pull back the bow, the farther the arrow will go. So if you have a situation that is really getting you down, you're like, how did I end up here? Why is it so bad? Why is something happening to me? Shift your perception. That means life is setting you up for something really big and better and amazing. There is a rainbow coming.
Yes, and remember, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. That's a big one that you've told me.
And step 3 is tune. And that's what I'm talking about.
So surrender,
shift your perception, and tune. Tune to what you want as opposed to what you've got.
And we are so conditioned as a society to tune to what we've got or what we don't have.
Well, a lot of times what we have is unwanted, or the absence of what we want.
Like a big credit card bill. Right. We don't want that.
We don't want that. Or we have a business that's not producing profits, right? It's the absence of wanted.
Or a client that's annoying.
Yes, for sure. So instead of tuning to letting all the conditions around you dictate the vibe you put out, choose. You get to choose the dial. Choose it. This morning I did it myself. I was like, you know what? I feel like I want to feel really fabulous right now.
But you are fabulous.
But if I want to feel fabulous, it's like a radio dial. I can choose to put my dial on that channel, and guess what song's going to play? The fabulous song.
Yes.
So play it. And don't play it because you ultimately want to be this super successful business owner. Play it because it feels good. It's a whole lot better than not fabulous.
And you know what? It's as you're saying this, I'm reminded of a situation that just happened with my daughter, my 3-year-old at daycare, and it just goes back so far how we're conditioned as children. She had water day at her daycare, right? And she's got this really cute, different bathing suit because of her sunburn, so it goes down long, but it's like a jasmine, so it shows her belly button. And at 3, she's self-conscious about that already. So anyway, she went to school. She came back. I said, "How was water day?" And she said, "Colton didn't like my bathing suit. He said it was ugly." 3! And I said to her, "You know what, Ella, that's okay. You can let Colton, he's allowed to have his opinion." I'm like, "You can feel fabulous anyways." I'm like, "Let's feel fabulous anyways."
Yeah.
That's a fabulous bathing suit. And she goes, "I'm fabulous." I'm like, "You are fabulous." And I had this conversation with her. I'm like, because
It's true.
she can,
You can choose to
you
feel
can
however
be
you want to
sad, but let's not be sad. Let's choose, like, it's okay. Colton doesn't understand what a
And the
bathing
reason
suit
why
is.
tuning is so important is
Choose
because
a different thought.
Anything that you want in your business, in your life, anything that you want, the reason why you want it is because of how you feel when you have it.
Right. And
And
don't allow
our inner power lies in our ability
Right.
to feel the way you want to feel without the condition changing.
And you don't have to go with what is in front of you.
Yep.
My daughter does not have to choose that opinion.
Yep.
And I want to teach her that from a young
Yep.
age. She can choose a different thought.
Yep.
So the big lesson here in Travel Talk Live, this was a deep one, right?
Yeah.
If you found this topic helpful and you're really soaking this in, go ahead and leave a comment for us. Go ahead and leave the love button and let us know what nuggets you got out of this session. And remember that the big conversation here was just how to tap into your intuition, because your intuition is your greatest resource. It's your greatest tool. It's your greatest, and
it's how you step into the
really
business
a secret.
leader within you.
It's how you step into the business leader within you. So that really is it for
That wraps it
today.
up.
If you want to get, a little housekeeping notification. If you want to get notified of when Travel Talk Live is about to go live because you love this content and you love listening to what we have to say, go ahead and sign up for notifications. And you can find that URL in the comment section here, or you can also find it on the fan page, but you want to sign up to get notified. So thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, thanks
Another
for watching.
fun episode, and we'll see you in the next episode. All right?